Hey, what's going down, everyone? And we're back for a brand new additional point of the Fallout 76 franchise. And as we're going back, just like Twin Pines, where we're going to hit our 88 miles an hour, we're going to see more than a few things that are added inside this update, which are pretty cool. So, for the first few things that we can possibly go to, let's go ahead and go to our PlayStation overlay and see what exactly details what we have. Because not a lot of times it just gives us like what exactly like it's downloading, but it won't give us much past that. And I have to cover a No Man's Sky update right after this. The new Sean Murray was hard at work. I always check it. But as you can kind of see, as we kind of get down the portions, you can go to your library. Once you find the title, like right here, you can select the update history, which will tell you. It just says general bugs and glitches. So that doesn't tell me much. I want more information, please. And you can basically try to initiate the update if you haven't already gotten it by literally just checking for the update. And I have the update one. So with that being said, we've covered our basis for as far as the PlayStation. Go ahead and go over to the PC overlay, and you can see I already have it highlighted directly over here. For as far as our patch goes, let me just go ahead and bring it over here, a little bit easier for us all to kind of enjoy. And as the link is in the description below, where it shows you all the roadmaps that they basically have at this very moment, which are very, very selectable. And let me go ahead and showcase exactly what I mean by that from the Bethesda webpage. It's one of the simple reasons that you can get into a portion of news where they're very forthright, and you can see right there that's a selectable portion. Then they have the atomic, which is the 12, and right before, as well as there are some maintenance coming on the 22nd. And this is where I was able to get everything that was afflicted by and in that situation that was on the add-ons. But let's go ahead and go jump back to our patch notes. And you can see that basically one of the bigger highlights that they have is the preparation for the Storm Vault 94, which is a raid. Assemble your team and get ready to take on the first raid. So that's going to be something that's going to be more of a draw portion of getting your clans together, getting your gangs together, getting anyone together in this portion of just exploring the wasteland together. And that mission that you can find out what happens in the dwelling portions of the Vault 94. So exciting rewards, and plan to be crafting new items in Vault armor sets. Now there is a please note that the Vault 94 will open on PC on the August 20th. We are currently planning to open the Vault 94 on the consoles in the next few days. So if there's an update that's like very much right after this, where it's more than likely, I would assume the 22nd, as we kind of get into this, we might see another new update. That will be the bridging portion for as far as it, and the preparation of what we downloaded prior is more than likely it connecting with the server when they finally like release it live, or have us download a little bit of a little piece of it so we can get the rest of the situation. Now, there is a situation that shows off the gear where you can collect everything who's visited the camp by constructing a few display cases. There is the fill your pockets. We've increased the maximum number of caps each character can hold to 30,000. I guess that's kind of fair. I feel like a lot of people would probably be utilizing a lot more caps on the road. But I guess you can hear them coming a mile away, needless to say. Not to cap on them, but... The rest of Like You Mean It is the furniture installment. The drinks and open water sources now require a long press, so you do not perform a action by accident. So that's nice. That way you're not accidentally like dicing it up a little bit. Now the Nuclear Winter, choose your perks and the duplicates in the cards. Now award the Overseer's tickets, which can be used to unlock perks and cards and do not already own. So it's going to be able to siphon out the confusion and be able to basically break it down to you really quickly and forthright. Now the Nuclear Winter balancing charges were implemented in the variety balance of the design updates. Many weapons and other nuclear winter attire basically is there. So as the known patch basically is the version it's going to be getting into. The download size is approximately about 7 and about 2 for consoles. So it's going to be for a situation again with the consoles you're going to have a bigger download versus the actual physical PC, which is only 2. And it's the variant patch known as 1.2.2.9, which again is probably going to be their server connecting portion, since we have the variant of the 1.26 and or the 1.29 that will be coming in, I would assume. if that is what they're getting at. So getting at past that portion, and we can kind of scroll down a little bit, and at this situation we have, and I can zoom in a little bit too as well. And the newer armor that's basically showcased directly down there, and the challenging portions of the experience that you'll need in order for 4 level plus 50 characters in order to dwell inside of that situation of Bolt 94. Technology is going to be very useful, so have fun and bon appetit for those on the console. You'll have to wait, but on PC you can definitely consume this nowadays. Now, the next tune, where they're going to be starting the Vault raids, listening for the emergency broadcast. There's 3 missions that will basically play directly in the Dead in the Water, Melt, and Washouts. Each of these missions for the last of the 1 week repeats every 3 weeks. So only 1 mission at a time will be available for players. So it's like you'll have to siphon inside of these situations. But still, that's kind of cool. They have like a nice little like turnaround rate of like basically what you'll be able to selectively get into different raids, which is cool. They're giving variety, and I can appreciate that. And then Vault 94 will become temporarily inaccessible for 3 hours when the mission 1 rotates the next each week. So there's going to be a little bit more of a downtime while they're doing maintenance, but they did showcase that the 22nd again tomorrow, past what we're at right here, so it's probably more than likely on Thursday they'll be doing a little maintenance on their portion, and hopefully we'll be seeing some cool stuff roll out for consoles, if not towards the end of the weekend. So looking at the past portion of that, the 3 difficulty modes now choose the novice, standard, and expert modes every time you play the mission. The novice basically is like the situation where you're just kind of standard. Your expert modes are going to give you a little bit more different times and more difficulties encountered, like, just like you would expect them to have. The more difficult modes to also be aware of is loot and more XP. If you run out of your entire team is downed, you will end up at the start of the mission, just like any kind of raid. You basically get rebooted back to the very beginning. Claim your rewards and the caps and all that fun stuff that comes into the situation that is detailed in the portion of cap armor, as well as like every situation now. The camp displays, as you can kind of see, like they're kind of detailing a little bit down over here in the next portion of what they're basically going to give us is the display off all your situations with inside your camp display. So your bobbleheads, all these other things, they're basically making it a little bit more step past like what they already have, which is pretty cool. And then you have up to 30 displays that you can maximize in your items arrangement. The general atomic shop, that was another bigger portion, and that's the one that, like, if you go right here, the very front one that I had thing, you can select this one, and this one will give you where the actual loadout is, and they kind of give you some really cool Fallout free items that are basically available. The chain photo frame until the 27th. You have like some more like very Raider-esque and other additional portions of like what we're going to be getting into, and as you can see, these are available between a limited time, which is another reason why I wanted to bring this out between situations, as we can kind of get into, and I can kind of zoom in just a little bit more just so everyone can kind of see what is available, what's on sale, if this is what you're really wanting to get your hands into. And it's cool stuff, don't get me wrong. I think it's like decent, but I mean, I'm more of like just a grind and, you know, make the product work out there. So with that being said, and I being able to close both these sites and go back to here where the general fixes as the items as I showcased in the perk cards and the quest events that are going to be basically available within that reasonable point and what they've actually fixed. Let's get down to the physical portion of where they have the minute changes in order to not just give us general bugs. And you're gonna have like this availably patched in there, so if you want to get to patch 12 on the August portion, you can definitely link that directly inside of the description down below. And this seems like a lot of the situations of what they're already, there we are, and the bugs and the fixes. So this is where I personally like to like dwell a little bit, seeing a lot more of like the portions where they have the animations and the will no longer fail to play. in the objective portion of survival. The graphics of the flame visual effects now correctly appear when utilizing the power armor jetpack, which would be kind of annoying in the long term, but like not so annoying if it was just long as it was just aesthetic, in my opinion. Now the crafting and the blueprints were fixed for as far as with the way they interact with the moved camp locations, the bug fixes and the issues in the camps and the budget bars, and the brief portions of what's available. Let's see here, the blurb signs, greenhouses, locks, Mrs. Frizzy rides, and the character mode will no longer flip into the exit of the ride. So a lot of like fun things that basically kind of got fixed inside of this. It was a pretty heavy one, especially if it was like right around 7 gigs for us. And then the power fixes, which correctly into the portion of the power armor placed. All the other situations where they fixed up down the portion of the scraps all junk button now is correctly disabled into a portion of utilizing it in the correct portion. And then the statue and the bronze and the iron version, the heroes at Wasteland, can now correctly be moved. Besides that, the white picket fence and the increasing like minimal portion of that inside of the 16 to 32 range, which they actually made available. So challenges, it seems like they listed that down below for what they have actually generally fixed inside of those situations, from anywhere down to learning cooking recipes down to the portion of the shoot your Gaia with a syringe. So the creatures now correctly take damage in the headshots. That's actually a pretty like great situation to have. I've had that where sometimes just things don't do it. The corpses and the enemies contain no loot no longer. Display the symbol of transferring into the menu. That would be annoying, especially if you thought you had loot available. And then the corpse and traveling incorrectly spawns into the Deathclaw and other creatures' corpses. So it just seems like a tornado of a mess, pretty much. This game has always been kind of like that, but they seem like they really made a huge strive to make this update really work. So good for them. That's kind of cool. Let's see here. The Flatwood monster. The melee is now correctly attack. The damage to the players. The liberties no longer can be into the ghoul pool else destroyed. Rad toads now will be more diverse pool of possibility of loot drops and the greater odds of rewards for more loot. They made that a little bit more cooler, and then they follow up with it with the eggs and the place by the red togs that are now be disarmed. So there you go. That's kind of cool. Like your radioactive frogs that are like dropping like loot. So besides that, the items that have basically been able to kind of like attribute down to the situation of updating the legendaries. So exploits that what they address, they can be causing afflicting power armor models, the mod errors down to the lack of the portion of the paints and the sledgehammer, as well as treasure maps and other situations that would basically be arising from treasure map 2 to 7 that were main issues. The chameleon fixes of like what will happen to the preventative stealth and the effects of the chameleon mutation for the display incorrectly, and performance instabilities. This addresses the issues that causes the crashes when exiting the menu, as well as fixes the issues to cause crashes while waiting on the join to a nuclear winter match. Performance implementations and the improvements in server performance. So they're fixing their portion of what's going down. And again, these are quests and user interface items that they have basically brought up for PC stuff. So this is linked down below. You guys and gals can definitely kind of tune into this as we kind of sum up the patch note a little bit faster. But here goes our general fixes for the winter fix. So they have got a great situation that's laid out for, which I thought was really cool, and the damage proportions of the attack time for perk cards all the way to the combat, the no longer radiation damage, the effects, which are pretty cool, and then down to the world general fixes. So all this again is very well linked into their patch notes, which is available right here. I have linked and I've showcased at this portion of time. So if you are new to the channel, I go ahead and pop over directly to the real talk as we exit this patch note. You can always consider subscribing to the network. It's absolutely free, and who knows, maybe I'll get a DeLorean and time travel back into the past. guide and find out. But all subscription humor aside, thank you so much for spending your time here. And anything else that you would need to fill in the blanks with all the patch notes can be linked directly down below. Now I'm going to take a break and get some food and cook myself some like fun patch notes. You're going to No Man's Sky where they're 2.08. But this is the patch notes and the news for the 1.26 of Fallout 76. See you guys and gals in the near future.